Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. This is episode 409 of the Ping Pong Flix Show. Let's get with a few updates. The biggest one is Godzilla vs. Kong. I know it feels like a century since I've talked about Godzilla, but finally we've got something from Godzilla vs. Kong, and this is the reported Godzilla vs. Kong Cinema Expo of 2019 footage description. Credits go to @the_Lord of Salem for the digging. Here we go. With a somber tone, the footage opens with Alexander Skarsgård's character entering an ominous, glacier-like temple of fortress. Thunder and lightning crackle and crash across the high heavens above, with the footage now laying sight upon a raging, chain-bound King Ghidorah, with the tyrant shown to be bound to the surrounding fortress, while also be surrounded by unidentified troops. A voiceover narrates of a great impending war. Footage cuts to a dejected Kyle Chandler, then shifts to the sight of Madison despairing and in tears. The footage then shifts upon a restless ocean coast overcast by a biblical thunderstorm. From the restless ocean coast, Kong rises from a half-sunken aircraft carrier, and while doing so finds his glare met by Godzilla. A moment passes, and then Kong decides to attack. The two titans clash, their battle trampling over a warship of scattering troops. Kong exhibits a prowess of agility and speed, and lands a square hit onto Godzilla. Godzilla, in feedback to Kong's attack, remains firm and expressively unfazed. In response, Godzilla replies with an attack of his own and sends Kong flying. This is all coming from Omega Gomaru. It's still possible, maybe now, if we will get an actual New York Comic-Con trailer, as this thing is coming out next year, early next year. It's not going to make it to the next San Diego Comic-Con. So you can kind of wonder if there is going to be some kind of trailer or teaser coming at New York Comic-Con. But if not, we would love to see this. This is incredible stuff. I mean, there have been a lot of leaks and things about a certain trailer. Some of them like really far-fetched stuff that I didn't think about, but this one seems to be everybody's kind of agreeing on that this could actually be what was actually shown at Cinema Expo. So I like that. Well, the whole ominous glacier-like temple fortress. There's something there. What are they searching for? A chain-bound King Ghidorah, and you're like wondering how is that possible? Well, they have the head, so maybe if the head regenerated into a full-fledged body, then that would make sense. They would want to tie it down, maybe find a way to actually control him, possibly with mecha parts. Nah, I don't know. But I still think King Ghidorah is one of the big bads that's going to be coming out of this. And that kind of makes it kind of clear that it's not just going to be a Kong versus Godzilla film or Godzilla versus Kong film, and they're going to be a bigger bad, and with Alexander Skarsgård possibly being a villain type role for this, and what is up his sleeves, who knows. We also have Kyle Chandler, and of course, Madison's comes back with that. But the fight with Kong and Godzilla, it's gonna be pretty freaking awesome. I want to see what this is. I mean, it's just at this point that he is definitely possibly just as big as Godzilla, as we've seen in the ending parts of Godzilla King of the Monsters. But I like how he's exuding agility and speed, and hits Godzilla, who is like a god, he's like Superman, right? He remains firm, and he just like flicks him off, and Kong just goes flying. I can't wait to see that. That's awesome. It just reminds me of Batman versus Superman in a way, where Batman's hitting Superman, and then once the kryptonite wore off, Superman kind of looked at him, and he's like, oh crap, and he gets hit, right? Or even in the Justice League War animated, where Batman kicks Superman, doesn't do anything to Superman, and Superman just hits him once, and Batman goes flying. So I kind of see on them doing that. Whether that means that Kong won't be able to fight with Godzilla remains to be seen. I believe there's something that it's going to be like a tie thing where one side loses and then the other side wins, and they're just gonna, the third fight will be actually going against two of them going against a stronger enemy, and it just seems to be another Ghidorah fight here, possibly even something stronger than Ghidorah, or something, maybe a mutation, something to do with the villains, which are the humans in this movie. Those Alexander Skarsgård's character possibly, and the people that were from the last film. So exciting stuff. I can't wait to see an actual teaser or a trailer at possibly New York Comic Con, or pretty soon, if anything. I can't wait to see this the marketing for this ratchet up as we get closer and closer to Joker going out in theaters, and then Warner Brothers are gonna be in the ready to market the next films going out. So finally, we got a little bit of Godzilla vs Kong news, and we'll see if we get an actual trailer coming out pretty soon. Now, since we're talking about Joker, Joker did premiere this past weekend, and we had a lot of different talks. We had a lot of different press saying that it's going to be dangerous, and then they should have the police, and then the FBI is getting involved, National Guard. I don't know, but it's been crazy, totally crazy. But like I said in my last show, is that what they did was they did not invite the press to the carpet, and so they want people to just go ahead and watch the movie. So a great ballsy thing for Warner Brothers to do. In fact, Todd Phillips had actually came out on stage and talked a little bit about Joker before it started.
Tell a friend. I feel like we have not gotten enough press, and the word is really not out about this film. 3 years ago, I approached Warner's in DC with the idea to make a complex, deeply felt character study on one of their villains, and somehow they said yes, and I want to thank them for taking such a bold swing with this movie. Films are a giant collaboration, and there's a ton of people who worked on it here tonight, cast and crew, not the least of which is my partner in crime, Joaquin Phoenix. He gave such an intense performance. He gave it his all, and I just want to thank him one more time. And yeah, lastly, I'm just really excited and honored to be here with all of you tonight. And I think it's time to let the film speak for itself. So please enjoy Joker. Thank you.
So just from the beginning part, I agree. He kind of just sarcastically talks about how this movie might not have gotten enough press, so be sure to tell your friends and family. But I think this negative press, it may actually boost the box office for this movie. Like, people will probably be curious about this movie, right? And what happened to the premiere? All those scares about the premiere, what happened to that? Well, I'm going to read you this article from Deadline. Joker has quiet Los Angeles premiere amidst possible threats. At last night's premiere at the TLC Chinese Theater in Hollywood, the security was high, but the threat was fairly low. Security was scattered amongst the entire Hollywood and Highland complex. Even each floor of the parking garage had an official monitoring people coming in and out of the busy structure. Hollywood Boulevard was closed, and authorities were guarding the area, closely watching everyone that went in and out of the theater and the restricted areas, including the after party. But in the end, it was your basic run-of-the-mill Hollywood premiere with some adjustments. So as I want to say that, I want to read the rest of this, but it's very funny how this article almost wants to exude like they almost wish something would happen, which is kind of pathetic and sick. And it just goes to show that the press and the media, or select few of them, are really hyping up the negativity of this thing when it really shouldn't be any. There really shouldn't be any negative press on this as well. If you're going to give this negative press, a white male shooting up and killing people, then you got to give negative press to every other movie out there that has that, like John Wick, Rambo, things like that. I mean, where is the hate for those films when those are more, championed and they're more praised, while this one is, sidelines? I don't get it. I don't understand this, and Todd Phillips himself doesn't understand it, and the rest of the cast and crew. I mean, even on Twitter, you see people are canceling Joaquin Phoenix, one of the greatest actors of our time, and they're canceling him because of, I don't know, political correctness or whatever, right? And it just doesn't make sense. And I'm totally against all that. I cannot myself. I'm very excited to watch it this Friday. My wife and I are going to go head to the theaters and watch Joker and see what it's all about. There's going to be a lot of praise, though. There's quite a bit of praise from this movie. Even Jason Momoa went to go see it. He thought it was amazing. There's the entire cast and crew, the entire cast of the Suicide Squad with James Gunn went to go watch it. It looks like they had a good time as well, which actually gets to my next update, is that it looks like Suicide Squad is starting to shoot at least from this week on, as all the cast is together and they're shooting on over there. So it looks like it is the start of the shoot. It is the start of the Suicide Squad production, and it's going full throttle now. They've got all the cast there, everybody, the main people there are going to be in the Suicide Squad right there. I do notice Amanda Waller's not there, so maybe they shoot scenes with her later on, and maybe a few other people that could possibly not be there, like John Cena, for instance. I don't see John Cena in there, so we'll see what happens. This may be just a beginning shoot, and we'll have more stuff coming on later on, but it looks like it has begun. They got to see a screening of Joker at the same time, and it looks like they really enjoyed it. And this could be actually the first time we actually see them together, and we actually finally get to see Margot Robbie, because she's done with Birds of Prey. She's on to the Suicide Squad to continue her movies of Harley Quinn. It's like the Harley Quinn adventures, if you will. So for people who enjoy and want to see the next Suicide Squad, be happy. It's starting now. So that's great. That's great for Suicide Squad fans, and it's great for Harley Quinn fans, and of course DC films in general, that they are continuing to make DC films. Now, for people who are still kind of just we're still waiting for that release of Snyder Cut, right? We're still waiting for that. There's no news, nothing, absolutely zero coming out from Warner Brothers. And you are really concentrating on Joker right now. The Suicide Squad's next, and Wonder Woman 1984, and the Birds of Prey. There's a lot of things going on, but we are always anticipating, we're always thinking about the release of Snyder Cut of Justice League. And so I had a viewer, his name is Lone Wolf, and also his friend Bat Shadows, actually sent me this little video, which is just a recording of the operator at Warner Brothers once again. And this is what, to my knowledge, is another recent recording.
But the release of the Zack Snyder director's cut movie is kind of sort of tied up at the moment. It's still, the process is still being worked out. They haven't announced a release date yet. So I don't know when the holdup is, but until they announce it in the trades, we won't know. So it's just something you got to keep your fingers crossed and hope that they work it out soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Nothing much to get out of that, only that she does acknowledge that there's a Zack Snyder's Cut of Justice League. She did get into release date, and just like we've heard before, which we've heard before actually, that they won't announce it or announce that maybe it exists until you hear it in the trades. But now it's down to announce the release date in trades. And yes, it could be just an operator who is just getting these calls, and they're just kind of responding in a customer servicely fashion. They don't actually know anything and things like that. But it's great to hear a little bit about a Snyder Cut at least, in order to just get that discussion once more up to the forefront. Whether it's true or not, I think it gives it a little bit of notice once again, including an article from Brad Curran. He put one out about the Justice League, and it's kind of like the consequences of the Justice League Snyder Cut happening. What would happen if the Snyder Cut was released? And I love what Brad did here. He put it into a nice article. You guys should check it out and read it. But it does go into the possibilities. And I also have to reiterate that this may not come true. Even the cut, although I believe like 80-90% is going to come out, but the consequences of that action may or may not come true. But the possibility after its release is something certainly to think about, and certainly something to talk about. What would happen after the Snyder Cut of Justice League come out? Well, there's possibilities is that if it's enjoyed, if it's celebrated, that we could get into the conversations of Justice League 2 once again, and maybe even having Zack Snyder involved in that, seeing that how people get to see the movie that he wanted to make, understand where the story was going after Batman v Superman into Justice League. Then they'll maybe like saying, well, I want to see what happens next. So that could possibly happen, right? And other things could have possibly happened. We'll get like the air cut, other cuts as well. There will be more open to that design as well. Zack Snyder could come back. Yes, that's could happen as well. Lots of great things could potentially happen with the Snyder Cut releasing, with people getting to see it, with people getting to say, hey, we like this direction that the DCU was heading at this point. Maybe just throw all this direction onto the HBO Max or some other Elseworlds version, like their own Black Label, if you want to call that, and have it released that way. So it covers a sort of niche crowd within the DC film fan base, and while the other one satisfies another niche crowd or the general audience as well. So I like what he wrote there, and I believe with all hopes and crossing fingers, crossing toes, everything, that all this would certainly happen. We'll just have to wait and see what comes next. All right, guys. Well, that is it for tonight. I want to thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.